Birthday Hawa, birthday Hawa Shai, birthday Hawa, birthday Hawa Shai. Call Halayim wa Hawa, Allahina, Yahweh, Bashem Al Shai, Bashem Kakodesh. And give him double honors to our apostles, those a great millstone, peace and salutation to elect. Yahweh being the true, almighty, and powerful name of Heavenly Father in the world, and he calls God. And Jehovah, what true name is Yahweh, which means he exists, he to be. Hashem is in the name. Yahweh Shai is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father in the world, and he called Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai meaning he the deliverer, properly pronounced in the Paleo Hebrew. Bashem Kakadash, in the name of the Spirit Holy, or Holy Spirit. Of course, double honors to our apostles and elder bishops, elders, a great millstone, who well, peace and salutation to the elects. Shemiyah Mapa from the Great Millstone Plaintables camp located here in city Philadelphia. About I am Lamadi Ma'ikama lesson or we lesson. This is more breaking news. It was, continue to be a developing story. It says the UK government or United Kingdom, which United Kingdom I believe consists of Scotland, of course, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. They within the UK Parliament are having issues, various resignations of positions within the cabinet of Boris Johnson, which Boris Johnson is your prime minister for the UK, United Kingdom, which he, if you're no familiar with him, he his previous the prime minister of UK prior was Theresa May, and he was able to with his whole cabinet was able to, obviously the Lord leading them and go through with the Brexit, which is biblical prophecy as well. But that's Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of UK at this current time. So we're gonna get into this right now. He's a part of the Conservative Party, not Labor. Okay. Which will be your Conservative Party. Will be so-called for the people, as they all promise. Be like your Democrat Party on this side, being of the West, being in Americas. Then you have like Labor Party and other parties, Lib Dems and etc. But let's just get into it. So give me a moment and excuse the buffering on the video. I got two different videos, but we'll see through the spirit what I choose. So,
ladies and gentlemen, today is one of these days that will go down in the history books. It is absolute carnage right now in the United Kingdom as the entire cabinet, the entire parliament, government is resigning. So you've got all of these experienced politicians who...
Your parliament is your legislative body over there in the UK. And they work, so-called, supposed to work together, with various government affairs that affect you people and such, passing, drafting and passing laws and such. Well, you have a collapse, which I've seen so many during the time of Brexit, leave. But it's just more the Lord putting the icing on the cake at this time, which is perfect, because you can't gloss over the fact that Esau's government structure is in a collapse And hey, things as things seem like trending, uh, with loads of things happening in Britain before it happens in America, such as of course Britain was the first to implement that Sharat of the dosage, which were in response to the pestilence, and I believe they were following after. I mean, they were another to completely get rid of all their different various mandates that they had. Well, we're seeing like they're which they, like I said, Great Britain are United Kingdom, London, and such, and they represent one of the three unclean frogs and such in Revelation the 16th chapter, and they have, of course, the whole the financial structure of this, or the whole financial power of this power structure. The military being here in over here in so-called DC, or the Pentagon, and the spiritual aspect from the Vatican. Okay, but hey, this is major news. So this continuing on.
Who have just, I mean, this is just a few of the resignation letters that I've got here. The most senior politicians right now in the Conservative Party who are in power have resigned, citing it as a no confidence with the leadership, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister.
I'm terribly sorry, we have to stop there.
And the man went through various no confidence votes, escaping them. Pretty much they put him on a they hold a council, and they pretty much vote on if he can, if they want to be pretty much the leader, continue to be the leader. And he escaped that, but now, as you're seeing, his whole cabinet just saying bye. Health Secretary Sajid Javid resigns. That's what it says right here. Fair use worn out on any of this footage used by these publications, such as Leading Britain's Conversation on, if this off of Sky News or not, I'm not sure, for global, but fair use warning is for educational purposes, and anything from BBC, British Broadcasting Company. I don't own any of this. This is only for educational purpose, only, not for monetary gain.
Rishi Sunak has resigned. The Chancellor has resigned. That is it.
That's it.
It's over.
That's it.
It's the end of, this is the end of Boris Johnson's government. Rishi Sunak has resigned. Sajid Javid has resigned. The news is that Boris Johnson's government is collapsing tonight, very, very fast.
He's had them defending his decision to promote a sexual predator. Every day, the lines he's forced them to take have been untrue. And now he wants them to go out and say that he simply forgot that his whip was a sexual predator.
I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. We are just going from crisis to crisis to crisis. I'm going to cover a little bit of this and what's actually been said, what's happened, a little bit of the timeline. But then I'm going to tell you what I think is really going on here. I'm amazed that no one, I've been watching all these media channels, YouTube channels, to see if someone will realize what is really going on here. And I'm amazed no one has actually picked this up yet. So I'll talk about that a little later. But let's just look at some of these resignations and what's come in. So we have the second most senior person after Boris Johnson. Unbelievable. Now let me just add it. I'm going to give you a little bit of context as we go through here. So Rishi Sunak, Chancellor of the Exchequer, after he graduated from university, he went and worked at Goldman Sachs. Key thing here, Goldman Sachs, and that's between 2001, 2004, and then between 2004, 2009, he then went and worked at a hedge fund, and he became a partner at a hedge fund. And then in 2015, he came into politics, and February of 2020, which is just when the whole COVID thing hit, he became Chancellor of the Exchequer. Right, so just bear that in mind a second. Now let me just read, I'm not going to read his whole letter because it's, there's a lot here. But let me just read a couple of points. He's saying it's time for me to step down as Chancellor while the world is suffering the economic consequences of the pandemic. The war in Ukraine and other serious challenges is a decision that I've not taken lightly. However, the public rightly expect government to be conducted properly, competently and seriously. I recognize this may be my last ministerial job, but I believe these standards are worth fighting for, and that is why I'm resigning. I actually don't believe this. I think that Rishi Sunak is going to make a play as Prime Minister. That is what I think. I think he's resigning now, but I think he could come back. There aren't really any strong contenders to replace Boris Johnson. So I think this is somewhat of a play. In fact, before we go on to the letter, let me just show you what has actually happened here. So here we've got Boris Johnson, here's Rishi Sunak, and here's Sajid Javid. All right, so let's just look at this then. This is who has resigned just in the last 24 hours. So the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, the most senior person after Boris Johnson, the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid. Now, by the way, let me just tell you one other thing.
If we put out so much different fake, or false claims with the pestilence, the Health Secretary must note.
The crises that we have right now, what are they? It is money and the economy. They're the two big ones. Health, with the lockdowns and pandemic of the last 2.5 years. Energy, education, and environment. So just remember all of these crises that we have right now. And now let's look at the resignation. So we have Chancellor, economy and money. Health Secretary, health. Education, Solicitor General, legal, that is legal things, all the legal stuff going on right now. Education Minister, Treasury, Justice, Environment, Health and Social Care, Transport, so that's around energy. Transport again, Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. Remember these things because I am going to come back to it. And if you want a more detailed list, you can come on here. Again, you can always read the URL just in the top bar here on all articles. Look at this. These are all the resignations that have happened. Now, what are they saying is the reason for this? I don't believe this reason. They are saying it is because of the claims made against this former Tory MP, Chris Pincher, who's been...
Right, so that's what they claiming it's about, but, obviously we know it's different things that's really, truly going behind the scenes, going down and such, which, another source here off of another site I use a lot of good information off of TLDR Daily. Covers a lot within, UK government and such.
48 hours, the Conservative government has been thrown into disarray. This all started last week when the Deputy Chief Whip was accused of groping 2 men at the Carlton Club. Accusations have existed about him for a number of years, prompting questions from journalists about what Johnson knew and when. This led to a completely botched communication strategy whereby Number 10 was specifically accused of lying. This seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and both the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, and the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, promptly resigned. There was then a flurry of resignations of junior ministers, creating a sense of panic in Number 10. We're writing this on the morning of the 6th of July, and I'm actually recording this minutes from Prime Minister's questions, which could actually feature some more interesting news, so make sure you subscribe to tomorrow's episode to hear more about it. Moving to Ukraine, where the governor...
So there that was right there. I'm trying to fast forward things for you that are listening. But that's not the true reason. The true reasoning behind it is what particular Neil McCoy Ward suspects is economic reasons.
Been suspended after allegations that he groped 2 men. What does these gropes consist of? He touched the inner thigh of one of the men and touched another man on the thigh. So there are 6 claims of inappropriate behavior. And this has all happened at a rapid rate. These are all the resignations that have just happened. Look how many there are. Now let's get back to this letter then from Rishi. He said, our country is facing immense challenges. We both want a low tax, high growth economy and world-class public services. This is just not true. If they wanted low taxes, they would have lowered the taxes. They haven't done
Exactly.
this. When was
They're
the
the
last time
legislative
your
body.
taxes were lowered? Yes, they want a high growth economy, but the problem is these people who are the experts, they don't understand the economics, or if they do, then they're deliberately manipulating it to make, and it's a theft. Inflation is a theft of people's savings and future purchasing power. And if they want world-class public services, why are they not delivering world-class public services? They're creating all this new currency and sending it around the world, and they're investing into military and weapons. Why are they not investing into these world-class public services? Because they don't
want to. And look, first of all, they're bought and paid for and controlled, all right, by the elite. These nothing but figureheads for the elite. Okay, so and you know, they're part of this beast system, being from the original 10 horns, all right, which Britain was a part of, you know, but of course, in these times, they broke away from the EU, which they were part of the European Union, but with Brexit, British exited the EU, and they saw, pretty much their own sovereignty from the EU, for wanting to have more control over their various, governmental affairs, not having to pay contributions to the EU and its other weaker member states. But as we see, the damage has already been done. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2 and 40. It says the fourth kingdom being the Roman Empire, all right, shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. Okay, and we know that iron is superior, to in metal, okay, to other different weapons, in which other, of course, nations, had, if we tried to fight against, and that gave them an advantage. You can read all into it. And the Roman Empire was very, very, very great. Had a great military, okay, and such. As iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part a potter's clay and part iron, okay, that can't mix, man. All right. The iron, it's like the kingdom shall be divided. So this kingdom being the new Roman Empire, all right, being the divided kingdom, the iron with the miry clay, or potter's clay, as I'm going to, is divided. All right, there's variance within it, okay, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as I saw the iron mixed with the miry clay, and the toes of the feet were part of iron. The feet representing the end of it, all right, which this empire is the end, all right, of this whole system, all right. These kingdoms, the four kingdoms and such, going to the Babylonian, you go into the Medio Persians, the Greeks, the Edomites, and Rome, and now the new Rome with the partly strong and partly weak, as we going into. So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, and you have stronger economic countries which are now falling. At this time, you had stronger, within the EU, European Union, such as Britain, or Germany, Britain and France. But we're seeing, even though you had the Brexit, And you have had them break away, because they don't want to pretty much pay in support of the weaker EU, the European Union nations. All right. And now we're seeing their own government falling apart completely too. Like their actual own so-called government fall apart. Parliament. Okay, on their own. All right. Heavy, man. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with the miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. All right. So, this place is doomed for failure. Okay. This because the whole beast system is the NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and also the EU. All right, that makes up the beast, and America sits upon the scarlet-colored beast, and we're seeing, one of them, are a part of it is falling, man. So it's a good time in prophecy and such, because we see the truth just continue to manifest. All right, and the clear message from the Lord that the apostles and others are right, dude. Of course, it's divine communication through them, using them as oracles. All right. Or the oracle being the law of the scriptures, all right, which we do perceive from our mouths, all right, because we are the mouth of the Lord, being his prophets.
It's obvious. What else do you say? But this can only be responsibly delivered if we're prepared to work hard, make sacrifices, and take difficult decisions. Well, who's making these sacrifices? The politicians aren't making any sacrifices.
And remember, this is Esau, being like you said, they talking about, well, they want to do all of this to make improving to the government, but everything's moving towards militarily to give all this aid to different different interests within with NATO. Having to support what's being done in Ukraine, all right, against Russia, which is the bear. But they're all Edomites, all right, and they are the sword, okay, as the Bible speak, Revelation chapter 6. So of course, they're gonna be involved in all this war and such, and that's going to be a high bet on their priorities. This is we're in the time as the apostles and others have been going into at a black horse, being the hyperinflation and such. But I'm gonna start here in 4. And it says here, we're starting at 3, it says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, representing Esau, okay, Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And Esau does that via his military might, okay, taking peace from the earth. Okay, there's so many Israelites that actually are in, places such as Ukraine, foreign Israelite foreigners there. And Israelites from all different, under different nations, but they're Israelites by the way of their father. They're been having their peace stick, having their so-called homes, having to abandon them because of war and flee to other countries. even though the whole problem itself is caused by Esau himself, okay? But we know that Russia is being turned back with the hooks in its jaw, and want to, of course, take those them old Soviet Union countries back, which is going to ultimately, in the end, Russia's gonna pretty much be one of the major factors to destroy this horror. All right, being America. But it says, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. All right. Remember, Esau rules by the sword, as you read back in Genesis. Lived by the sword. Okay, that was his blessing. Okay. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, or judgment and such. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure for a wheat, for a penny representing a day's wages. All right, and Roman times. All right, that'd be days representing a day's wages. So if you say a measure for wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, imagine getting 3 measures, which is a wee bit of barley, for a whole day's wages. That's your inflation and hyperinflation. Okay, or it takes more to get to get more so-called money to get what you already prior was able to get for cheap, and now it's taking like I said, a whole day's wages and stuff like that, damn near. I mean, just look at your gas prices and such like that, and like watch when you see things completely accelerate with the hyperinflation, you'll see. Okay, right now we're experiencing inflation, but wait till things really be getting to straights, because we're moving towards that. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Oil and wine representing the knowledge is truth. Okay. Now, I just want to, make some understanding of that and such. And this is the man that worketh violence in the earth, as it tells you in the book of Psalms. I'm not sure if that's I gotta see if I can find it. If it's in 58, maybe 2 or 3, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is 58 and 2 Psalms. It says, "Yeah, in heart or mind ye work wickedness, and ye work violence or cruelty of your hands, of your power in the earth. And the earth been given him into the hand of the wicked." So, they bring forth all this different violence. And saying so-called that we stand with Ukraine and stuff, but meanwhile they're supporting and giving weapons and arming the whole battle. E as a whole, okay? They controlling both sides. Now, Lord willing, I can get to just mainly him pretty much talking about the actual the root cause, and that pretty much should be it. I'll write it out for this lesson.
They've got some nice pay rises, haven't they, with all this inflation going on? I firmly believe the public are ready to hear that truth. Our people know that if something is too good to be true, then it's not true. Again, I disagree. The public don't know. The average person now does not know what is going on. They just cannot see through it. Now, there's a statement in here that I don't quite understand, and it says, "In preparation for our proposed joint speech on the economy next week, it has become clear to me that our approaches are fundamentally too different." Now, I wonder what is meant by that. I really do. So what did Boris Johnson respond with then? Here's his letter. This is his response. A couple of lines. These efforts, he's basically thanking Rishi, and he said, these efforts prime the economy for a rapid recovery once the immediate danger of the pandemic receded. So what they're talking about here is this furlough and all this other stimulus and currency creation that they did, which has now led to rapid inflation. You cannot beat the system. This has been tried over thousands of years, even back to Roman days where they tried to alter the currency, take the gold and silver coins, mix it with copper and other metals. It doesn't work. You eventually end up with high inflation, and then eventually, if you push it too far, you have hyperinflation. So this is just simply not true. All the stuff that they did was not good for the economy long term. Short term, yes, it was good. It staved off a recession. People didn't lose their jobs. They didn't lose their homes. We probably would have had a depression. But long term, you cannot fight off the inevitable. And that is, if you create too much new currency, you have a problem. What else? This enabled us to provide support to households worth £37 billion, and we have faced global inflation pressures arising from Putin's brutal invasion of Ukraine. Again, not true. The inflation was already here. Inflation is an expansion of the monetary supply. Now, we've got lots of letters here, but I want to cover a couple of other points. I personally think all of these resignations right now are strategic. Let me tell you why. We've had more than 15 resignations, and again, I've waited as long as possible to record this video. So this video is coming out a couple of hours beforehand. I'm going to record it, edit it like crazy, get it uploaded so you can see it. But as of right now, we've got over 15 resignations, senior people in the government. So they're all saying the same thing. The public wants us to deliver a better service. The Prime Minister has lost the trust of the people. Why would they suddenly all just resign now? This has been going on for a long time. The government lost the trust of the people going back years now, and especially over the last couple of years. And then when everyone was suffering and locked down, they were having parties. These politicians were having parties. Some of the people resigning were at these parties. Can you understand this? They were at the parties, and they are getting on their high horse of integrity and saying they are leaving because there's no integrity. Talk about hypocrisy here. The fact is they've just lost 2 by-elections, which if you think, if you're from outside of the UK watching this, that's a little bit like, it's not the same thing, but similar to your midterm elections in the USA and similar. Right, we've got all of this stuff crashing down, and now all of a sudden all of these politicians are jumping ship. It's obvious what's happening. The ship is about to sink. And now remember, back in November time, I think it was 2021, I made that forecast that I said, as of the 1st of January, the UK will be into a recession. You're not going to know until the 1st of July because you need 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. And I said it will probably be announced somewhere around the 5th or the 6th of July. What is the date today? It is the 6th of July. What happened yesterday? All of these mass resignations. Now, why? Let me go to the shared screen and show you this. This is the real reason I think they're all jumping ship. Look at this. UK economic outlook has deteriorated. The Bank of England warns. And then they go into details of it. But the key thing is this. This is their latest financial stability report that has just come out. And the IMF, the OECD, all of these organizations have said Britain is more susceptible to recession and persistently high inflation than other Western countries, all of which are grappling with energy and commodity market shocks. Now, this is the report they are talking about. Now, it's only just come out. I only found out about it this morning, so I haven't had time to go through it yet because it is absolutely huge. I'm going to print this off. I'm going to go over it overnight. There are 80 pages here, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on here. But I think this is due to the cost of living crisis on the people and the inflation they thought they could control, and now they've realized they can't control it. They created too much new currency. They've expanded this monetary supply too big, and now the inflation has run rampant because of the energy input costs, because of the sanctions, because of everything else. Energy has become more expensive. They did not account for some of these things that have happened, and now it has thrown the country into a crisis. Now, just be...
Yeah, and, I mean, they fight amongst each other, divided. You want to sanction Russia, and they supply a lot of, energy to these different, so-called European countries. All right. So the real reason is pretty much economic. All right, as you can see. So I'm gonna pretty much move it to ending the lesson. This is the book of Job, chapter 18 and 7. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and we're seeing that. Okay, we're seeing the movements, the phases, of his strength, of his whole system is in a position of difficulty, great position of difficulty, because down to the point where you have great whole cabinets resigning. Just imagine Biden's whole, like over in the United States, Biden's whole, everybody that's underneath him just quitting. Okay, catastrophic. You got to find a whole cabinet now. It's like damn near finding all new members, reforming a whole government. Okay, in the midst of all what we got going on down. I mean, if the leadership, the head is being cut down, where's the body? It destroys the body, And Boris Johnson, like I say, he pretty much is moving towards he pretty much being destroyed. All right, you been calling for him to resign too. Okay, it says in his own counsel advising shall cast him down. All right, and we're seeing that. We're seeing his own cast him down. Okay, because of all of the divisions within him. Okay, and the elite know this and stuff. Okay, because they set all these ones up, but for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. And their whole thought as we went into our plans of, things are gonna rebound, so-called, after we shut down the whole economy and such, world economy, because of a pestilence, and then reopen things are gonna return to normal, even though we of course stimulate the economy with quantitative easing. That only has made everything worse. Now people can't even afford many of the basic necessities, and you have major shortages of basic necessities. Okay, now you have war on top of that. This is a trap for this man. It says the snare is laid for him in the ground, and the trap for him is in the way. Okay, so we seeing this man is through. Okay, Esau Edom, his government is through. All right, and for them that bring out that it's that financial stability report, and them can see the future outlook as economists. All right, that things are not looking good. That only brings delight and joy to us, because the prophecies are speaking louder and louder each and every day. Until we see a complete full collapse. All right, which is heavy, because like I said, they're part of that. London is part of the three unclean frogs. As I went into, just briefly mention that. So I'm gonna get the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. And pretty much moving to close off. This is great news if you're into prophecy, which you should. Yeah, so and I wanted to make sure I clarify everything with that Revelation 16 just real quick as well, just to go, because I don't want to just quote it and brothers don't know what I'm talking about, or any new brothers out there. Revelation chapter 16, and this is verse 3. It says in the second, let me see, is it? I might got it. Hold up, 1 second. Where is it at? I thought it was. Hold up, Slocky. I gotta find this one because I thought it was 16:3. Let me see. Just make sure I put in 3 unclean spirits or something like that. 3 unclean. 3 unclean. Yeah, 16. Oh, 13. Pardon. It says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frost come out of the mouth of the dragon. Dragon being the Roman, of course, Empire representing, right, which is back through America and its allies, which the whole United Kingdom is a part of. Okay, which is back through the new. Under new European names and such. You could go back into the ancient names of the different various 10 horns and such, which you have the different, have today is 27 but member states, but within that'd be particularly stemming out of the 10. All right, but anyway, that's another lesson for another time. It says, and out of the beast being NATO, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, R.C. Church. All right, and there's little underlings, for they are the spirit of devils, which go forth into the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to battle of that great day of the Almighty. And that's the end game. All right, and you have the 3 unclean, going to the 3 city states, which encapsulates of the NWO agenda. All right, you have Washington D.C. representing the military might, London City State, which is the financial capital, okay, in the Vatican, which is the spiritual aspect. Now, if you have the financial capital literally going in straits right now, with them even just going and publishing a bad financial forecast into the future, that goes to tell you we're very, very soon to this complete collapse of the Esau's whole government, and all hell breaking loose and chaos in the streets and ML going down. All right, which we know of Marshall, and of the obviously with the L, all right, the A to the W. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12:3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, keepers are your economists, okay, household managers, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, the jobs, okay. And those that look at the windows be darkened, right? The future is very bleak, all right? It is not looking good at all. That's the true reason of this collapse. Most of them want to escape the blame for it, because in the end, when the sedition comes, who most people are going to blame it on? Those that they trust their trust in, and so-called, as they believe they elected. They were actually handpicked by the elite, but things are really accelerating to the complete demise of Esau. So that's the lesson through the spirit, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem HaShai, Shem Kodesh, the blindest apostle, that was a great millstone, peace and citation to elect, shalom to elect again, shalom.